Hey guys, what's going on? I again come up with a new video, and this time we will discuss about the impact of GST on the real estate sector. So real estate sector is very important for our economy, and also they give us the house, the home, the sweet home, and you know that you also save the sweet home contact into your contact number whenever your mom or your dad calls you. So therefore I also have a lot of memories with my sweet home. Therefore I decided to make a special video for those one who are in the real estate sector, those person who are in the real estate sector, or the accountant of those real estate sector, or the simple person who just want to know how to interpret the GST or how the different provision of GST will going to impact on the real estate sector. So in this video we will discuss about every single practical aspect relating to the GST on the real estate sector. So you know that the real estate sector have to comply with a lot of rules, regulation which is applicable on them. I don't know about those applicable rules or regulation, but I definitely knows about the GST, how the GST will going to impact on those guys, and what are the condition, restriction, and other kind of stuff which will going to hit you if you are a real estate. And you know that those person who are in the real estate also have a lot of issue relating to other laws, or they definitely has a lot of issues relating to the rules and regulation act, and they have a lot of huge penalty into the balance sheet. I know that, you know that, and everybody know about this. So therefore this video is especially for those guys if you don't know about the GST, how the GST will going to impact on you guys if you are a real estater. Alright, without wasting the time, let's jump right into the video. So in this video we will discuss about a lot of sections. You can see there are 7 provisions which will going to impact on you guys. So we will discuss it one by one. So now first one is about the what you call a real estate sector. So because you are a real estater, and what exactly are the name which you will be called in the GST. So real estate sector will fall under the definition of works contract. So when you read the works contract definition under section 2 subsection 119, then you will see that the construction of immovable property will be called the works contract under GST. So remember that you will be a works contractor under GST. Then you have to also check out that whether it is a supply of goods or service under GST. So schedule number 2, entry number 5, and clause number B deems that if you are in the business or you are a real estater and you receive the consideration before the completion certificate or the possession, whichever is earlier, so that will be treated as a deemed supply of service under GST. So remember that if you receive any consideration from the buyer before the completion certificate or the possession by the buyer, then it will be treated as a deemed supply of service, so you have to pay GST on it. But if you receive the consideration after completion certificate or the first position whichever is earlier, then it will not be treated as either a service or a goods as per schedule number 3 entry number 5. So it says the sale of land or building will not be treated as a goods or service under GST, because you know that it will be treated as an immovable property. When you receive the consideration after the completion certificate or the first position by the buyer, then it will be treated as an immovable property, and you know that the GST is on only a goods, and goods doesn't include the immovable property. So therefore if that will be the consideration is after the completion certificate or the position by the buyer, then it will neither be considered as a goods neither service, and you will be completely exempt, you can say, from the levy of GST. So in a situation like suppose you are a real estater and you are selling the 500 flats in a building. So suppose you sold out 300 flats before the completion of the possession by the buyer, and the remaining 200 is now vacant. So if you sell 2000 flats after the completion certificate, then those 2000 flats will not be taxable under GST, because that will be under schedule number 3 entry number 5. Then if suppose you are you receive the consideration before the possession or the completion certificate, then what exactly is the rate of tax on those cases? So the rate of taxes is given under notification number 11 of CGST rates. Notification number 11 CGST rates deal with the rate of taxes. So the rate of taxes in case of a works of real estate is 18%. Remember that it is not the 12%, it is 18%. So when the GST Council first decided on its meeting on 19th May 2017, they said the rate of tax is 12% if it include the value of land, but now it has been revised to 18%. 18% is the rate, but the effective rate is again the 12%. Let me give you how. So the rate of tax is 18%, but they have their paragraph number 2 attached to notification number 11. So when you read the paragraph number 2 of notification 11, then you will see that they define the value for taxing the GST. So they said that if the value include the value of land or the share of land, then in those cases the value will be treated as total amount charged less the value of land, and the value of land will be deemed as 1/3 of total amount charged by the real estater. So suppose you are a real estate owner and you sell something and it also include the value of land, then you have to deduct the value of land, which will be deemed as a 1/3 of the total consideration, and that value will be value for charging the 18%. So you know that 1/3 of 18 will be like 6, and 18 minus 6 is 12%. So effectively the rate is 12%, but they have just give you the paragraph number 2 in notification 11 where they says that the value will be total amount charged less 1/3 of that total amount charged. So effectively the value will be reduced, and therefore the effective rate would be 12%. But I have a problem on this one. So we know that we have to also check out the valuation rule, and in case of a valuation rules, they says under section number 15 that if the transaction is between the related person, then the valuation will be as per the valuation rule, and rule number 28 of valuation rule says that in case of a related person the value will be the open market value. So under notification 11 paragraph number 2, they says that the total amount charge less 1/3 of that total amount charge, and in total amount charge means whatever the real estater is charging from the customer. So suppose your customer is your related person and they paid you very less amount of money, so whether 1/3 would be that of the money which he is paying or the value which is calculated as per rule number 28, that doesn't clarify in the notification, and I also don't have idea about that, but I think the value should be what is calculated under rule number 28. So if the rule number 28 or other valuation rule will applicable on this, then the total amount charged will be, I think, as per the valuation rule, but I didn't have any idea whether that is the intention. This may be clarified sometime after when they will notice some kind of a transaction like that. The date of recording this video is like 27th July 2017. So till now we didn't have any idea. In case the real estater will sell the goods, will sell the property to some related person, then how the valuation will be determined, whether it will be under paragraph number 2 or the valuation rule. So that is an open issue, you can say. Then what about the input tax credit? So section number 17 subsection number 3 clause number C and D deals with the input tax credit of the works contract. So if you check out the section number 17 subsection 3 clause number C, they says that the real estater who received the works contract services, which is the input services or the input goods, then he can take the input tax credit on those one. So suppose you are a real estater and you receive some kind of a works contract services for discharging or for delivering your output supply, then you can take the input tax credit on those. But the person to whom you are supplying the service cannot take the input tax credit of the works contract services which you are supplying. So suppose you are a works contractor, real estater, and you are you are constructing a house for a company, so you can take the input tax credit of the works contract which will be your input services, but the company cannot take the input tax credit of the services which you are supplying to the company, because the company is not in the business of the works contract or the construction services. So therefore those persons who are receiving the works contract services cannot take the input tax credit if they are not supplying such work contract services further. And also, if you are a company, suppose, and I am the works contractor or the real estater, and I am supplying the service to you, and suppose for defeating the purpose of section number 17 subsection 3 clause number C, you purchase the goods or services from outside source on your own account, then also you cannot take the input tax credit which is provided in the section 17 subsection 3 clause number D, where this says that if you receive the goods or services for the construction of civil structure or other kind of stuff, then you cannot take the input tax credit on it. So suppose you are thinking to build a hotel, you are a company and you are decided to run a hotel, and you are receiving the works contract services or the real estate service from some kind of a person. So in those cases you cannot take the input tax credit of the hotel which you are building, because in those cases you are not supplying the works contract service further, so therefore you cannot take the input tax credit. So that is you can say that is very shocking to you guys if you are in the business of the hotel, or you are deciding or you are thinking that I should build a hotel. So that is the case. Or suppose you are decided to open up any business in which you will rent out your property. So suppose you are receiving the input tax input services of real estate from some guys, and he is charging the GST on it, and you are now supplying the rental services out of the property which will be created out of those real estate services, then also you cannot take the input tax credit, because you are now supplying the rental services, not the works contract service or the real estate service. So therefore you cannot take the input tax rate that is provided under section 17 subsection 3 clause number C or the D. And then invoicing. What about the invoicing provision? The invoicing in those cases will be treated as a continuous supply of services as per section number 2 subsection number 33. Section 2 subsection 33 deals with the continuous supply of service. So if you are a real estater, because you know the nature of real estate or the contract of real estate is beyond the 3 months, so therefore in those cases that will be treated as a continuous supply of service, and you have to now issue the invoice as per section number 31 subsection number 5. So section 31 subsection number 5 says that you have to issue the invoice, and there are 3 conditions on this. If the due date of payment is under the contract, then you have to issue invoice on or before the due date of payment. In case due date of payment is not ascertainable from the contract, then on or before the receiving of the payment. And in case the payment is linked with the occurrence or doing some kind of event, then you have to issue the invoice on or before the event. That is the provision relating to the invoicing. And then there is also a transition provision which is on the 1st July 2017 when the GST is applicable. So section 142 subsection number 11 clause number C says that those persons on which both VAT or the service tax is applicable before the introduction of GST. So we know that the real estate person has to pay both VAT as well as service tax. So in cases where the person have to pay both VAT as well as service tax before the introduction of GST, then those person can take the input tax rate of VAT as well as service tax, and they have to now pay the GST. And you have to also check out the rule number 118 of transitional provision rule, which says that you can take the input tax credit of the VAT or the SANVAT credit or the service tax which you have paid with regard to those services which you are supplying after the introduction of GST. You can take the credit of those services only if you fill out the form Tran 1 within the 90 day of the introduction of GST, and you have to fill the Tran 1 and table number 11, in which you have to fill out the certain detail for taking the input tax credit of the VAT as well as the service tax paid under the earlier law if you are supplying the service after the introduction of GST. So that is the complete provision of the GST which will be implemented, or you can say provided on those person who are the real estate person. So I think this would be helpful to you guys, and you know that I'm doing such a hard work for keeping you update, for educating you about the real provision of the GST. And if you have any query regarding those cases, then you can ask the question on the mail, which is the sharwangst.148@gmail.com, sharwangst.148@gmail.com. So I will make another video tomorrow about some kind of comments which I received of on the below the video of video name is like export of goods or export procedure or the export of service under GST. So I received a lot of comment on my video which is the export procedure under GST. That video is around 3.4k views till now. A lot of people asked me the query regarding those, so I decided to answer those queries which was asked on the comment section below the video. In terms of a video, I will give the every single answer of the comments which was being asked on the comment section. So if you have also the query regarding those, you can type the comment, but I will not reply your query on the comment. Remember that, because I don't reply the query on the comment. You can comment like the video is really nice or the video is very bad. You can comment like this in the comment section, but I will not reply any type of query which you will ask me on the comment section. And I will also make another video which will be very funny video regarding the GST, where I will show you that my funny part, because I do also some kind of funny activity in my personal life. So I will upload that video also. Remember the, oh my god, that's a fan. Actually I thought the light is right now there's no light, so I decided to put the same fan on, and when the light come in, the fan turn on, and you know there will be a lot of noises if I turn on the fan. So alright guys, so we will meet in the next video. Till then, bye bye.
When I met you in the summer,